Hey, what's up, Team KBA? One Tech Traveler here. This is Last Shelter. A fresh week, a new base skin drop. We're gonna check it out today. Eden's been pretty chill. I finally got to rest over the weekend and just really recovering all of those troops. But here we are doing another base skin drop video, and looks like they started to take some feedback in about trying to do something more zombie themed, or at least post-apocalyptic style, and that kicks off with Endless Nightmare that you see here. We're going to check it out how it looks like live on the map and inside the base just through the preview, and then talk through some of the specs of the attributes that you get from it. Also very interesting, it does mark a new change, or at least a new start of these kind of effects that we'll dive into shortly. So here, like with always, you have these game packs that you can buy specifically that awards you like tickets, and within those tickets you can get a chance of picking up the base skin among a few other things. So here we have the base skin. Normally they kind of paired with a name tag or some sort, which is this one here, Endless Nightmare. Doesn't really look endless or nightmare. That name tag looks pretty plain, so they could have done a better job on that. And that's among the super tickets, 50 Wisdom Medals, advanced ticket, and 1000 diamonds. So everything else is pretty irrelevant in this type of ticket pack. Of course, it is the Endless Nightmare that we want. Another thing we can look at also is the probabilities. So on a base skin, you can see, compared to like an APC skin, which I think is 1.8% probability. Of course, it's a randomized nature. Give or take, you might get better than that or worse than that. The Endless Nightmare is 1%. Of course, it's a permanent, but 99% of the chance you're looking like getting some of these other stuff with the name tag coming in at 3%. So it's really just like a 4% chance that you're going to pick either or the base skin or the name tag, which is pretty insane, very low. So that's why I always say, if you are looking to pick up these base skins a bit more affordably, then do check out Leo's VIP Club. He is my One Tech Traveler verified and partner on our channel for Last Shelter, so that you can have a lot of fun, join his 420 plus strong community. Done over 340 raffles now, and yeah, there's plenty of people that can vouch for receiving their base skins or their winnings in the APC base skin, or even combos, or just pack purchases through him safely, securely, and much more affordably. So yeah, check it out, Leo's VIP Club, link down in the description below. Everything else, it's the super ticket, wisdom medal, advanced recruitment, and 1000 diamonds. So not great odds there, but if you do decide to go for this ticket pack, well, what are you exactly getting? So let's actually dive into the preview. Here we go, and I do have a title this week: Defense. Needed it for the extra training troops. Wanted the chief of staff, but it doesn't really matter. I just need to keep training those troops. So let's head inside our base. And let us go to decorate. So this base skin kicks off a new trend that we are going to start seeing going forward. And let's just find it first. Here, Endless Nightmare. So it is the first base skin, well, I would say the main type of attributes anyway, to provide an enemy debuff. We have seen it before with reducing the enemy marching speed about 5%. I think it was the Christmas tree one. Yeah. But this is the first like proper permanent one that they've actually dropped as a paid skin. And in terms of the description, with the green fluorescence flickering throughout the night, mutant creatures lurking around invaded in silence. Even the most sensitive radar could not sense the danger looming on the horizon. Pretty nice description there. But you can see here, enemy might during battle, minus 5%. So we can talk about that in a moment. But in terms of the visuals, it's definitely on a better like direction in terms of relevance with the kind of skins that they have been dropping recently. It's been a kind of everywhere, like the Sweetie Sweet APC skin. We had the more futuristic, that was still pretty cool looking Adam 1, and then we had like the trick box, among other sort of skins that were kind of themed, but not necessarily within the whole world of zombie survival, right? But now this one is definitely looking close to it. When you kind of think of zombies, it's a bit like, how can you reimagine that as a base skin? So it's actually a little bit more difficult. But here is kind of like, yeah, a radio signal tower of some sort. You can see we have the satellite there, and we have a few animated pieces. So it's, like they mentioned, it's overgrown with some mutant creatures, and in essence, they're sort of like sickles or like thorny things are waving around. Maybe it's an extraterrestrial way of saying hello. It's not what I expected. It's in a step in the right direction in terms of the theme, but it's not the most alluring or attractive type of base skins. They've obviously done a much better job with the others, but I think if they keep doubling down on these, then we should start to see nicer ones. My idea is kind of like an overgrown lab or biohazard sort of scene, maybe even trapped a few zombies in it that are animated. That would be really interesting. Or yeah, at the top of a tower, some like modified mutant being. That would be quite interesting. But here it's at least zombie themed. Enemy might during battle, -5%. So this is where it's going to get interesting, because now you have those base skins that amp up the attributes that you that your APCs have when sieging. This one is pretty much, yeah, negating that, the complete opposite. So more of your defensive sort of approach, any type of battle scenario. It'll be interesting whether during battle includes other stuff like in Eden, but of course whether it's going to cover like garrison tiles or not, that's what we kind of need to confirm. And if anyone decides to drop on the Endless Nightmare, which has a nice title by the way, do let me know down in the comments if you see that might stat difference when you are hitting, you know, garrison tiles besides like sieging, or any sort of like honor structures in Doomsday Total War if it's available and you're in that kind of season. So that'll be interesting. Enemy might is decent. It's obviously when you're coming up against very strong, a very like high stat bases, then it helps, but it's not going to be game changer, right? It's mostly going to be heroes, and you know, having heroes that do much bigger debuffs like Caesar, and that does maybe -60% might and -60% resistance, is going to help much more. But this is kind of applicable no matter what kind of APCs you are running. So yeah, whether you're more of a defensive sort of person or an attack stat sort of person, then this might be interesting to you or not. Personally, for me, not as interesting as a stat. I think I'm always more in favor of attack bonuses. But you know, there are people that love playing more in the siege defense scenario. If they're, you know, got a very confident, very strong lineup of APCs that are very difficult to break, then this is gonna really help that. So this is what it will look like in the map, and then in the city. In the city view, it definitely looks better. It's just because it's surrounded by all the other things you've got going on. So you can see my Mech Knight right next to it. Yeah, it provides a much more interesting visual there. So looks interesting. The radio tower, yeah, I think they could have probably gone for a bit more of an inspiring type of building. But it kind of has that sort of like the training vehicle one. It has that hovering floating city. Let's see if we can find it. Kind of reminds me of that a bit. They all always have a kind of a tower or a steeple. Yeah, like the trick box, they all have that. The floating city here, yeah, it shares quite a few similarity in terms of the overall shape, which is interesting. The floating city actually looks really cool, so I'm digging that. But yeah, that is the Endless Nightmare. What do you think? Do you think it's sort of the right direction that they are stepping in, making this a more appropriated type of, you know, skin, considering it is a zombie survival post-apocalyptic game? Let me know down in the comments if you do decide to drop in this. I hope you find it useful understanding what it is about. Again, definitely more empowering those that prefer being more that heavy tanky defensive type of base, if you've got very solid troops APC lineup that you're very, you know, confident about knowing that's going to make it tough for APCs to break you, this is going to add that a lot. And considering it is a battle stat, then it should be mostly applicable to any kind of battle situation with enemies. Yeah, just let me know down in the comments if you can confirm that, whether that also includes like garrison, like tiles, bridges, like doomsday honor structures, stuff like that. But yeah, that's it for the Endless Nightmare. Other things that I wanted to cover just to finish off is the new specialization hero training has come down. They have made a few updates here. So this is great for organic F2P. Just usually it starts from like the 3rd or 4th week. They start opening those benefit tasks again. Here we actually get 1,000 war badges. Really helps. That's roughly 100,000 VIP points if you tend to exchange on a Monday and Wednesday, which is like gathering, warm-up week, or research day. Now that since we're like a couple seasons in, I know previously in older states they were always being delivered S4 tickets, which doesn't make sense. Like a lot of it, you want the freedom, and this is exactly what I was hoping for, that they make them those ticket exchange versions that you kind of could pick in the cumulative events. So now you can choose between S1, S2, S3, S4. Of course, it's much better used within S2 onwards. But now, if you were sort of hoping to max out those specific selection tickets for the seasons, like for mine, I've just been doing it for S4 and just waiting until I have 10 to accrue for Hero Day, then this is going to help that. And we get 2 here. So this one is a very meaty one. I believe, yeah, this reset. So this is 3 days, which means if this stays the same, you could get 3,000 war badges, which is huge and very generous. And then up to 6 of those selection hero tickets. So very nice. And yeah, that's about it. So thanks a lot for joining me, Team KBA. That was the Endless Nightmare base skin. Again, you can see and read more about Last Shelter on my website. I'm documenting Season 6 right now and all the hero drops, as well as all my articles, guides around the wider stuff like Baneblade, Warspend, Doomsday shops, hero profiles. Yeah, check it out, onetechtraveler.com. If you found this enjoyable, give it a big thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next one, Team KBA. That wraps up the video. If you liked it, give it a big thumbs up. If you haven't yet, join the Team KBA community by subscribing to my YouTube channel, and check out onetechtraveler.com for more stories, articles, and videos around tech, travel, and gaming. I'll see you in the next one, but until then, keep being awesome. Peace.